when it came to this video, I pretty much had it all planned out. Basically, this is going to be the next video in the Galactica playlist. And this is going to cover an actress. An actress that said 3 words. 3 words that got her into hot water with fans and emboldened malicious, hurtful, and hateful voices. The actress's name is Katee Sackhoff. She played Kara Starbuck Thrace in the reimagined Galactica. Ron Moore basically adjusted the character to be a woman and to reflect his own creative ambitions and his own creative vision. And at the end of the day, we were told by her, deal with it. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't really know who Katee Sackhoff was before. I did see her in one movie, Halloween Resurrection, but really that movie was forgettable, except for the first 5 or 10 minutes, which had Jamie Lee Curtis and Michael Myers, which was her first death in that. I remember later when she got the decapitation in Halloween Resurrection, and her head rolled down the steps like a bowling ball. For all intents and purposes, that movie was just Michael Myers saying, "Get out of my house." When I came across Battlestar Galactica and Ron Moore announced his female cast changes with Starbuck and Boomer, this announcement came after the cast and summary were leaked, and the name Laura Roslin was a dead giveaway that the original setting and mythology would not be used. That was what I felt was Ron Moore's biggest mistake, as Moore's setting made it seem like it was any other show, especially with the first and last Christian naming. It was essentially a setting that you could have found anywhere. But with the female cast changes, especially with Katee, I decided I would wait and see if I might be pleasantly surprised. Sadly, that surprise ended when Katee said, 5 words, but it was the last 3 that made the bigger impact. I'm Starbuck. Deal with it. When she said that, she wound up being, in a lot of our eyes, another Hollywood elite who thought she knew better than the fans. She also became the apparent face of Moore and Ike, whose attitude came off as that they would do anything they wanted to any property they wanted. It was all about them, their egos, their visions, their ambitions. When it came to Katee being Starbuck, I wound up thinking of a line in Green Lantern 51, which had Kyle Rayner taking over Hal Jordan's mantle. His girlfriend at the time said that it wasn't his costume, it belonged to someone else, and he needed his own identity. I will admit I felt Katee needed her own identity as well. But deal with it remained an issue with me. For a long time, I wouldn't watch anything she was in. Bionic Woman remake? Forget it. 24 final season? Even Jack Bauer couldn't drag me in. But then she was in Star Wars: The Clone Wars as a character named Bo-Katan Kryze. And there was something that I could not get out of. Oh, but she was also in that gritty Power Rangers short where she was apparently Kimberly, but might have turned out to be Rita Repulsa. As I saw more of her as Bo-Katan, my view of her softened a bit. Well, don't get me wrong, I still had issues with Deal With It, but this was where she found her identity. Bo-Katan was her role. She started out in animation and then branched into live action with her role in The Mandalorian. From our perspective, when it came to Galactica, we were being screwed, and she was showing support to a pair of self-promoters, provocateurs, and executive cheapskates who thought that we deserved what we got. Her perspective, probably, and I'm guessing here, she's really the only one that can answer this question, is she probably thought that we were just a bunch of sexist trolls that couldn't accept change. So, she dealt with them, us maybe, in a way that was like stopping a forest fire with napalm. She seemingly didn't discriminate between the sexist jerks and those that may have had a legitimate gripe. The loud voice often dictated the conversation. On both sides, could she have been seeing the sexist jerks on her side, like we saw the troll bullies on ours? And it's not like we didn't have strong female characters on the original series as well. We had Serena, we had Athena, we had Cassiopeia, we had Sheba. Each one could hold their own to the men and even took charge. The way I saw it, the problem was not a political problem, which a lot of critics and reviewers were looking to make this out to be. The issue for me was always creative. And the big change was not the gender swapping. It was the setting. The continuation characters reflected the continuation setting. Reimagined characters reflected the reimagined setting. Setting is one of 4 aspects to a story. Story, character, setting, and action. Story seemed to be the only one that Ron Moore looked to seem to keep. Character was where he made his big changes to reflect his creative ambition, but these were not the key changes. The key change was the setting, when he decided to take out the mythological aspects and make use of a generic setting that I could find on hundreds of other sci-fi shows, in my opinion. For those that look to make use of a political argument, let me give this old definition of politics that I heard from a college course I took. Politics is the art of getting what you want. In this case, politics was used to justify creative decisions. In some cases, politics was used to complain about roads not taken. Katee probably heard sexist jerks on her side of the story. On my side, it was cyberbullies and internet trolls. Both were loud voices, and both, I believe, were wrong voices. I'll cover trolling in a later video, especially Ron Moore's role in standing against it. Pretty much the only one who had at that time. But I will ask this. The use of Felgercarb as a toothpaste, especially with the classic definition of Felgercarb, was that meant for the old school classic fans, as Katee was washing her mouth with, the rest of it? Now, does a character make a show? Not completely. The characters are part of the show, and it's one of four components really to generate an overall story. The storyline itself, what you're looking to tell. The characters that help bring that story to life. The setting, which is the world that these characters are based off of. And the action, which moves the story along. Katee Sackhoff played Starbuck in a soap opera generic setting, which I feel was, well, the setting I felt was the weakest part of the show. The soap opera-ish and shock value were also factors as well. But where I felt the original had its strength was in its setting, was in its mythology. That's what made it unique, and that's what made it stand out. Granted, the premise was one that had not been done, but it wasn't just premise alone that you could sell it on. It's like, think Harry Potter, and instead of going to Hogwarts School of Wizards and Wizardry, is like, welcome to Hogwarts magical landscaping. Setting was a major component in driving a story home for me. And while I like Battlestar to take credit for that, because its unique setting did make an impact on me, that was not the property that drove it home. The property that did drive it home, Back to the Future. When it comes to the argument of setting, you would probably think I would pick Battlestar Galactica first. But ironically enough, it was the Back to the Future movies that drove this point home. Especially with the setting of Hill Valley, as they look to make the town as much of a character as the characters themselves. Reflecting 3 or 4 different time periods. 1955, 1985, 2015, 1885, and 1985 alternate. Okay, that's 5 time frames. 1955 reflecting the time of the 50s, 1985 reflecting modern times then, 2015 the vision of the future, 1985 alternate, which was, well, alternate. Probably not so much now. And, of course, 1885, which reflected the Old West. Back to the Future was a film that debuted in 1985 about a teenager that got into his scientist friend's DeLorean and went back in time to where he met his mother and father and had to get them together after he messed up events that threatened his own existence. Then they moved on to Back to the Future 2, which would be in 2015, the first part, 1985 alternate in the middle, and 1955 close to the end to keep future knowledge from passing into the hands of young Biff Tannen. Back to the Future 3 would reflect the Old West scenario, where they had to use the DeLorean with no gas to get to 88 miles per hour so that their time travel system, the flux capacitor, could activate and send them back home. These were fun adventures, and they really made an impact on me, not just in terms of music, but also in terms of science fiction. This was the film series that drove home the point of setting and how much setting can be a character. And this lesson I also used to reflect in my observations of Battlestar Galactica. The characters in this movie reflect the settings that they lived in. Marty becomes a character in many different settings, and those settings influence him as much as he influences the events in these settings themselves. Throughout all of these settings, the one constant in all these eras is the clock tower. 1885, it is being built. 1955 is a fixture of the town. 1985, it is still a fixture, but the clock doesn't work. In 2015, the clock still doesn't work, but the clock tower is part of our townhouse mall. In 1985 alternate, the clock is now just a hotel. And in 1885, the clock is only now just getting built. So throughout all of these time periods, the clock tower is a fixture throughout the film series. A centerpiece that reflects the town and the changes it goes through all throughout the eras throughout this film series. It was said in a documentary that the town of Hill Valley was just as much a character as the characters in the movie Back to the Future itself. And unfortunately, when it comes to the games brought out by LJN, that character was not reflected. I had already reviewed Back to the Future videos back. So jumping ahead, I went to Back to the Future 2 and 3 for the NES. And I'm going to tell you flat out, I wish I hadn't. Back to the Future 2 and 3 by Beam Software, licensed by Nintendo of America, LJN Limited. Yeah. And that blink there was me trying to use the code for the title screen to see if I could jump to Back to the Future 3. And no. There's me trying again. Still no. So, if me jumping to Back to the Future 3 is something you were looking forward to seeing, sorry to say, it's not happening. At least, not this time. There's the logo, and yep, Biff Tannen steals an almanac and time machine, and he's become corrupt. You had to get artifacts to collect. And I remember playing this without instructions as a kid, and it was a headache. And I have looked through the instructions of this, and it's still a headache. I'm going to honestly say I don't go beyond this level. To do that would require a lot of time, a lot of patience, and there's another problem right there. It's, when you try to jump to get an artifact, there I was lucky that time to get a key, but when you jump to collect an artifact, you have to be careful. You have to jump and get it, like that plutonium pellet that you'll need to recover the DeLorean. And yeah, those birds, oy. And, well, nothing there. And, yeah, a few seconds of invincibility to take out that bird, but yeah, the bird comes back. You're better off, playing Desert Bus with Penn and Teller. At least you'll know those were 6 hours well spent. With this one, you may be playing for more than 6. But yeah, you jump on things. In some games, what you want waits for you. This one, it doesn't. It kind of jumps off the screen. You have to catch it before it goes. And sometimes you're just not going to be fast enough to do that. That's an aggravation. But, yeah, here you are walking side to side. It's a side scroller, at least for the most part. I mentioned that this was reminiscent of Berserk. Sometimes you can get the DeLorean to jump you into a safe spot. Oh, here. This is your life. This is where you can collect energy if you're lucky enough. And, yep, okay. You get enough energy, you get 100, you get an extra life. So, and you're also trying to jump up to get whatever treats you can, and you also have a limited time to do it. As I said, this reminded me of Berserk, as you have a series of mini games revolved around a quest, except while not Berserk, Venture. Now here we go into the door. That sinking feeling, and as you see, clocks. If you remember the original LJN Back to the Future game, yeah, the pattern I'm doing, this is the best way to do it, but you also have to be precise and don't go into the green. Yeah, I'm a glutton for punishment. I wanted to try to clear this, and, well, I did it once. Can I do it again? Basically, safely assume not this time. Let's see, where was I? Oh yeah, Venture, not Berserk. With Venture, you were doing a top-down into different rooms and trying to make sure that the big enemies outside didn't get you. Because when you went into a chamber, you had a limited time to get a treasure there. Yeah, your jumps have to be precise on the ground, and yeah, that sinking feeling because the ground falls out from under you, you don't have time to stand. You have to move pretty fast. And yeah, there are other mini games too, and also pretty much a headache. Yep, and there I lost it again. But yeah, the clocks, that was an original Back to the Future LJN game where I was having that whine-off with Kicker Man from Kicker. And it also included the Karate Kid in that as a, homage to Cobra Kai. And here I'm just saying, screw it, I'm going to see what other trouble I can get into. And yeah, jump on a snail. Is that a spiny underneath? I mean, shouldn't you be in a Mario game? It's like, yeah, I think it should be in a Mario game. There's Biff's. Here you are juggling between 3 time zones. 1985 alternate, which this is, 1955 and 2015. And also trying to find there goes the plutonium pellet, and you're also trying to find the remote so that you can call the DeLorean, and there's the key. That remote's around here somewhere, just trying to really figure out where it was. See, there's another, Alright, jump in, there goes the spiny, and got the key, good. And I'm down to 3 lives, see if we can find another chamber in here. And I think that's just a walking wastebasket, but still, yeah, that star, that's a projectile weapon. But you also have to be careful with it, because, yeah, you died. Now you don't have the weapon anymore! Fun! You have to catch the weapon before you lose it, and you just lose it anyway, because once you lose it, it's gone, and you're going to have to go through Hades to find another. One turns up eventually, if you have the time and the patience to do it. But yeah, you'll be spending a lot more time on this, I think, than you would playing Penn and Teller's Desert Bus. I remember playing this game years back, and I did it without an instructions manual. I'm going to tell you flat out, even if you do have the instructions manual, you're going to be beating your head on this game. It has some interesting moments where you have to fight like multiple Martys. This does seem to remind me a little of Exidy's Venture, which you have a series of mini games connected to an overall top-down. Unlike Venture, this one is a platformer and a side-scroller, but it doesn't translate well to this game. The pizzas you have on your screen are energy and life, and 100 will get you an extra life on your life meter. The plutonium meter, which is time jumps, will take you from 2015 to 1985 alternate to 1955. And if you input the special code, you get to do Back to the Future 3, which is in the Old West, but it's the same as Back to the Future 2. Old West setting, but same rules. There is a reputation with LJN games. The angry video game nerd kind of emphasizes it. And I think in many cases it is warranted. Here that reputation is reflected. You would be spending hours on this game, trying to master it, trying to figure out how it all works, what the ins and outs are. And frankly, you'd be better off playing Penn and Teller's Desert Bus than trying to navigate this game. Because Penn and Teller, yeah, they are the masters of magical mayhem, but if you played Penn and Teller, you know where your time is going to go. And also the use of clocks, which was a carryover from the original Back to the Future game, which had nothing to do with the Back to the Future movie, or very little. I mean, you had a character named Marty McFly. You had a town like Hill Valley. And you had a DeLorean. It followed the movie loosely, just as this game does. But it just did not capture the spirit of the movie. It felt like a poor imitation, a poor version. And I believe I've also reviewed this one before. Super Back to the Future 2 for the Super NES. I probably already reviewed this before, but it truly is worth reviewing again. Especially as this has the feel of Back to the Future that you might have missed out on in that last LGN game. Especially when it comes to the music. I'm going to make it flat. I'm going to be honest with you. That music in those LGN games, it does not reflect the movie. This, however, does. It looks like, well, I guess here I'm going to go through a training level. Show you what all I'm capable of. There's Marty. And he looks pretty sweet in this. Just show you what it's capable of. The flips, that's your offense, and using your foot to move forward. And you're basically being a coin collector. And you're still going up the hill. Okay, I think you picked up a coin there. And you also wanted to get that bigger coin there as well. And, think you get those? Yep. Do a little bit of a kickflip on the hoverboard. And ride your way down. Oh, and all those I missed. Yeah, gotta be careful of the zigzags there. This is pretty much a side scroller. And it was also for a Japanese audience. So, made for the Japanese market, and the Japanese audience seems to get quite a lot of good stuff that we just don't get, because I think I can honestly say American gamers would have loved this. They truly would. The music, the video art, the scenery, it's all beautiful. At least to me it is. And yeah, there's definitely some challenges on here, but I think I was kind of getting tired of the training level right here. Oh yeah, you're kind of hovering, you're kind of going, twisting the air, and there you are, you landed pretty good far away. I think you can get some more of those coins. And yeah, you're going up the hill this time, so you're having to circle back. Yeah, don't wait up. This is going to take a while. And as much as I may love this game, a while I do not have. Okay, so let's go to the actual game start. It's Marty and Jennifer, and well, hitting fall in love. And there's Doc saying, "Gotta come back with me, Back to the Future. Come on, let's go." At least that's what I'm assuming. I can't read Japanese. Marty and Jennifer go together with Doc. I think we can all assume Jennifer is knocked out in this shot. I don't believe she's a playable character in this. And the DeLorean takes off. 88 miles per hour flying. And here we are, round 1. Open. Okay, yeah, the black screen. This is level 1. And yeah, it's coin collecting. And the music, it is just beautiful. I love that score from the Back to the Future movie. It's an ominous score. It really is powerful. Back to the Future, I think, really is a movie that, or the trilogy of movies that had an impact on me. Huey Lewis was the lead, had the first single for Back to the Future, and I found myself liking his music from there. When it came to the setting of the films, while I said that the setting in Battlestar Galactica was very important, it was really, and while I did see the setting in Back to the Future in Battlestar, and it really helped that stand out with me, it was Back to the Future that really drove that lesson home. The Back to the Future series of movies, especially when it was mentioned that, setting is just as important a feature to a film or any story as the story and the characters and the action is. It looks like I came back with a little bit of invulnerability. And yeah, there's some, weird looking cops there. Not necessarily Biff's security force, as this is 2015. And, he doesn't get his security force until like 1985 alternate. So, yep, spinning and just trying to get that coin. Do I ever get it? No, I do not. So, just press on. Yeah, watch out for more of those kind of kooky, crazy cops. You have a level jump, and yeah, you're still going through those, and you still have to watch those big guns of theirs. They kind of remind me of the cannons over in the Super Mario Brothers, the Koopa cannons that fire those big bullet bills. Well, I remember that. I was having to figure out, that was Bullet Bill. Is this Bullet Bill? No, it's Bullet Bill's littler cousin, Bullet Ben. Yeah, bad joke. Dad joke. But I got done in, and yeah, I haven't really located any checkpoints here. Maybe there are some. Actually, yeah, I believe there are. I think there's some photo shots around here. But I didn't come across them in this round of gameplay. So, it helps being able to find a place to mark your territory. I believe there is one here. If not, I'm thinking of Gex, where, yeah, you do use a camera to mark your spot in the checkpoint and where you start. Oh, yeah, it's tail time. But in this one, it is, it's boarding time. And trying to get those star coins. Apparently, they're worth, let's see, get up there. Can we get one? Ooh, 10 coins each. I mean, you can pick up one coin and you pick up those stars worth 10. Getting across the side scroll. Oh, wait, 9? Maybe that's 5. Yeah, I would say it's probably 5. Thought it was 10. Oh, okay. Ooh, let's see, 35? Alright, let's see. And keep sliding, keep getting some coins. Wait, those robot waste baskets, weren't those in the LJN game? Don't tell me they made their way here. Okay, you don't have to tell me. Because I don't think they are. These robot garbage cans seem to be of a little higher quality, and they seemed to be made in 2015 and not 1985 alternate. Okay, there's Marty on his skateboard, trying to make sure he can get the right angle to get that scrawny cop and his Bullet Bens. Yeah, I'm going to call that Bullet Ben, not Bullet Bill. Yeah, because, Bullet Bill's littler cousin. I believe with this one, you can do a spin on the hoverboard to block a bullet. Yeah, you took a little bit of a hit there. Take one for the team, but can you make it to the top? And, well, first you got to get into the right spot to jump up and across. Yep, 2 coins there. Now you got to jump up and across again. 2 coins there. Jump up. Ooh. Yep, flip and take out the cop and the Bullet Ben. Alright, hang on. Yeah, I can say Bullet Ben because the LGN game had a discount Spiny in it, and I hit pause for a second. Hold on, should be back up and running again. Yeah, I didn't have to wait too long, but still. And I got shot, and I'm cross-eyed. Yeah, it basically indicates that I'm dead. Yikes! Super Back to the Future 2. It's easily playable for me. I mean, it's a side scroller. You have your obstacles. It's pretty straight up, and the music, beautiful. It's really emphasizes the spirit of the movie, more so than the LGN game did. In trying to move on in Back to the Future research, I did come across a Back to the Future game for the Nintendo Wii. I have been trying to tinker with it a bit, but it's still a work in progress, but I can show you a small amount of footage and give you my thoughts as they seem to come. I picked this game up for the Nintendo Wii. I haven't really gotten into real work on this yet. Hoping to reconnect a Wii U, meaning a little difficulty, but I've had this Wii for a while. And I figured I'd do a little bit of a sampling into Back to the Future. Right now, still getting a few controllers calibrated, but what I have here right now will definitely give you a good idea of what's going on. And yes, I decided I want to have Marty show some goals. How far he went. And, okay, keep on going. For the most part, this, starting out, it plays out like the movie. And right now we're seeing things through the view of Marty through the camera as he's recording Doc's experiment in the Twin Pines Mall. There are some changes of the stores at Twin Pines Mall. We got J.C. Penney, not J.C. Penney, I guess. And we're having it rush towards it, and, well, Einstein's rushing towards. We're seeing it from the perspective. Here it comes. And you get to choose which line you get to go to. And I think, okay, I went with you disintegrate. No, I went with, let's see. Yeah, I'm having a hard time trying to pick which one. That's why I'm looking to calibrate the Wii controller a bit more. I want to see if I can get more footage on this. So, you disintegrate Einstein, so you get to pick which line, and I guess you go a different road on it, because, well, when you're supposed to come back, when I made a choice here, I believe a little later, seeing, okay, yeah, it's in the future, 1 minute in the future. It's like, build time machine on the DeLorean. It's like, do you get to choose which line? Which one you're talking about? And it's like, you put your dog in the time machine. No, I went with what are you talking about this time. Try a little something different. See if I got a different result. Okay, I said, what are you talking about? And it's like, I guess that plays a little like Wing Commander. It's like you make a different choice and you get a different result. As I'm about to get a different result right here. As soon as Doc finishes explaining, okay, here we come. Look out, and nothing happens. So we get a little bit of a difference here. And this is something I really want to look into. I want to see if I can get a little more game footage and press on before, well, I'll just say I want to get a little more game footage and press on. And yet, also, you get to select actions here. It's like, can you get my notebook? And during first run, this is where I decided to stop for a second. See if I get Doc's notebook. I needed new batteries for the controller. And now it looks like I need to get new batteries for the sensor. So, stop here for right now until I can come back later and see if I can get some more footage. Well, I did come back, and okay, let me see if I can get that line to time machine out of a DeLorean again. No, I went with the top one, saying you went and built a time machine. Well, I also was trying to get the other line to make sure that, to see if anything different would happen or if it would follow along the path of the game. I would later find out that it did not. Apparently, the DeLorean does not return in this, and you're trying to determine what all is going on. And again, click to get Doc's notebook. While I was able to get new batteries for the controller and new batteries for the wireless sensor bar, unfortunately I'm having issues syncing the wireless sensor bar with the Wii. So I'm hopefully going to look into getting a wired sensor bar in the not too distant future. Especially as in this playlist I will be doing a few more Wii games in the future. But I was just trying to see if I could get Doc's notebook, and again I could not connect it to the sensor bar. The system, however, was okay, and I was able to make some limited movement, but I could not, for some reason, get Doc's notebook from the toolbox. I'll be looking at this more in the future. Stay tuned. What I got so far, well, I've got some technical difficulties still with the sensor bar, but it's very realistic and really follows along the movie very well. The game instructions basically say that the DeLorean returns, but there's no driver. And some say that's when the real game starts, not where I was at right now. That could be a training level for all I know, so I still need to tinker with the Wii bar a little bit. But for all intents and purposes, this one had the feel of the game, and I feel there's more to tell. I just need to look in on it a little more and tell more about it. So expect me to revisit this game in the future. And maybe, just maybe, I'll be able to get into that code to crack Back to the Future 3 for the NES. Yes, I will have to revisit that. Back to the Future is a movie series that made an impact on me. 3 films, and they decided to hang it up after that. Granted, it continued on through animated series and comic books and graphic novels, but we never saw a main canon film again. And that's by the design of the creators. They knew when to say when. Battlestar was also a series that made an impact on me. It was different. Starting out in the 70s. The alienness of the show is the appeal to our U.S. cousins, said John Nathan Turner regarding Doctor Who. And Battlestar had an alienness to it that was definitely an appeal. It was not the same thing you could find anywhere else. When the reimagining happened, I saw that show basically be something I could find somewhere else. They tried to make the female cast changes with Katee Sackhoff a selling point. And it just blew up from there. If there is one thing I would say to Katee, Miss Sackhoff, I could have gotten behind you until that moment where you said, deal with it. You lost me. I pretty much equated that to William Shatner saying, get a life, or a reviewer calling us a clueless moron, or idiot, or stupid, or even Bill Maher saying, I'm sad you're alive. Until that moment, you lost me. You never look down on the audience. Not if you can help it. Because you don't really know who you will be looking down on. You'll probably say, I'm just going back at sexist jerks. But you may find yourself getting a hopeful dreamer in the mix. And him getting caught in the blowback or the crossfire. What happens then? Some people view fandom as man children or basement dwellers or whatever insult you could come up with. I view fandom as the downtrodden idealist and the hopeful dreamer. But I will also say that view has kind of been called into question in recent years. However, I have still tried to maintain it. While the deal with it comment is still an issue with me. She has won my respect in other areas. For that, I thank her. I don't know if she'll be watching this video or not. But if we ever cross paths at a convention or cross paths on social media or a Discord somewhere, maybe we might have a conversation. Pick this brain and maybe answer why to the what. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. And of course, if it is, how will I know? So, probably not going to happen. Fun if it did, though. But regardless, when you get behind a creative pursuit, whether it be acting, whether it be writing, or whether it be game dev, or whether it be doing this video, you're essentially taking up a role of a creator. You have a vision, you want to implement it. A lot of people will see that as someone out for their own egos. And some may take a look at that vision and say, I'd lose something in the process if I let other people in it. So yeah, it is a bit of a slippery slope there. But if you enjoy the work you do. You enjoy that creative. You enjoy your artistic endeavors. And even though I'd love to have a lot more views than I do now, if you love it, if you enjoy it, if you have a story to tell, and a way you wish to express yourself, I say go ahead and do it. And Miss Sackhoff, if we ever run across each other in conventions, want to have a chat about what goes on in this noggin, or my views, or any fan's views beyond 1 minute on an autograph line or one question on the convention floor, I would not mind having that discussion. Don't forget to leave a like and click below to subscribe to the Turret Views and Reviews YouTube channel.